So, hallo, schön. Ich freue mich wahnsinnig, dass ich den Peter Moss hier habe für unser kleines Interview, was wir auch über Skype machen. Und ich werde jetzt versuchen, auf Englisch umzuschalten, damit er auch mich versteht. Ne? Okay. Hello, Peter. Good evening. And thank you very much for your time. So please introduce yourself and tell me a little bit about you, why you play the ukulele and where you're from.
Right, okay. So many questions. Right, I'll start from the beginning. I've been playing the ukulele now. This is my 50th year with the ukulele. I'm 58
Really?
age, yeah. For my 8th birthday, my parents got me a ukulele, not this one, but they got me a uke. Started playing it, absolutely loved it. And I went to the age of 16. I was winning competitions in England for playing a melody ukulele. And it got to the age of 16, 17, and I stopped in favor of the guitar, mainly because at the time it was more cool to play the guitar. And if you wanted to get a date, then the only way the girls would like you is if you played the guitar rather than the ukulele. How things
I really know what you mean.
Yeah, but changed now. So had I have been like 17 now and I was playing the ukulele, all the girls would be falling over. Isn't it funny how times change?
Yeah, absolutely.
But I've had a great journey. I've been very lucky to be invited to places like Australia and New Zealand. I was in America 3 times last year. This year was Poland and France, and last year was Czech Republic. So to come to Germany for the first time is going to be amazing.
Yeah, absolutely. So around the ukulele is something that will pushed in the last 5 or 10 years here in Germany. But how about in England? Is it an instrument what you see or hear years before, or?
Well, when I had to sort of break, because I started again 6 years ago, however, the ukulele had a revival, and I hadn't realized. So we were about the same. About 10 years ago, the uke started becoming popular, and videos of the great Jake Shimburuko were available. Of course, we've got the very successful ukulele orchestra of Great Britain, who were touring all over the world, and there was spin-off of that group. And then uke groups just started appearing all over the country. So, for example, now, within a 50-mile sort of radius of where I live, there must be probably 15 groups. And within those groups, we're talking, some of them have got 30 people, some have got 60 people, So when we do a festival locally, then all these groups will merge together. And it's great because everybody gets a chance to play the group or listen to other groups, which is fantastic. Yeah,
absolutely. Sounds good.
Mm.
And what do you think will it's growing, or is now a level where they stopped?
I think it's just kind of frozen a little bit from what I've found. I've built up like a little circuit, and rather than going to the same places, trying to play some new places. So I'm very excited to come to Germany, but there's a lot more in America I'd like to go to, but it's just getting over there and being able to stay over there for be a month or 6 weeks to be able to do a circuit of all, the sort of things. Of course, it's just a case of being away from home for that time. And I have family here. So if I can keep my trips to about 2 to 3 weeks, I'm happy with that. That kind of works, sort of thing. So,
okay.
Yeah.
And today, do you play only the ukulele, or do you play also other instruments like the guitar?
Yeah. So 17, 18, the guitar came along, as I mentioned. And then I got into bass, electric bass. Then I went back to the guitar. I was into, when I was 19, I was in a rock band. I had more hair. Yeah. And it was a different color as well. Yeah. And so there was a rock band, and we were doing covers of Van Halen and all that sort of stuff, Leonard Skinner, if you remember them, Freebird and all the rest. We were doing all that stuff, yeah. And then the trouble was with the rock bands, there was very little work apart from like the college or university circuit. So the only way you could get work at what we call the clubs, the sports clubs and things, was to do a cabaret act. So I was in cabaret for probably 10, 15 years playing guitar. And then I took up the saxophone, alto sax and tenor sax, a little bit of piano, So I knew a little bit on lots of different instruments, which allowed me then, when technology came along, to be able to multi-track different things. So I could be playing every single bit and just layer and layer and layer. In fact, on my CDs that I have for sale, big plug there, on the CDs, I play everything. You know, so obviously the uke, but everything in the background I've arranged myself and I play everything myself. So yeah.
Okay, cool. And the ukulele is your number one instrument?
My number one instrument will always be the uke. Yeah, it's great. I mean, I still pick it up. There's always 3 ukuleles out in my front room on stands. They're not away in cases. My best one is, but there's always ukes around, and I'll pick one up and I'll think, oh, I wonder if I can just do, you know, and you just start making things up.
So now you feel better. If you play, feel better. Good time.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. So it's it always is a fun instrument, and what I like about it is you're not stuck to one genre. I do like doing swing and jazz, but I also like doing how can I describe it? If you imagine a piano in a cocktail bar. And there's sort of a lounge, and he's playing all these fancy notes, and when they go from chord to chord, it's very sort of flamboyant, sort of using extra scales and things. Well, I love doing all that sort of stuff. You know, how can I describe it? So you could be doing as a sort of intro, like a pianist would do, sort of.
Ah, beautiful.
Thank you. So I like doing that out of tempo. I like doing things with fancy endings. So if I did sort of Georgia.
Great.
I like doing things. Go crazy like Roy Smeck would do something like Rockin' the Uke. So, just mess. Yeah. So there's so many you can do with a uke, and I think that's what it is now. I don't get bored because there's so many ways you could actually amuse yourself, as it were. And in my concert, I do a complete. Nothing will stay the same. The concert normally lasts between 45 minutes to an hour, and it completely changes all the way through. So I even sing, and that's very scary. Yeah.
But I agree, because I started to play the guitar when I was a child, and I play the ukulele now for 1.5 years. Yeah, but one thing is I like that, because if you go in a guitar shop and you just take a guitar, it's not allowed to play Stairway to Heaven, you know. But
Yeah.
with the ukulele you can play. This is so cool. I like that. Okay, so what kind of ukulele do you play? Is it? I think this is a tenor size, or what is it?
It's concert size.
It's concert size, really?
Yeah. So first time round, between the age of 8 and 16, I was on a soprano. But when I picked it up again 6 years ago, I just felt the soprano was a little bit too small. I've been playing guitar for such a long time, but a lot of chords and things which I'd learned the first time round had got a lot of stretches of 5 and 6 frets, so they're too big. Yeah, I just couldn't do it. You know? So the sort of middle ground compromise, if you like, was the concert, and I really enjoy it. This is the instrument that got me back playing again. This is what my wife bought me. It's only an Ibanez, and in pounds it was £170. You know, so I mean my top ukes now are over £1,000. You know, but this got me playing again. So it was my wife. I'll tell you.
How many ukes do you own?
Top grade ones, 2, and then 3 others which I have around the house, which I can just pick up at any time, just to learn things, do lessons with, and that sort of thing. So, yeah,
not so much.
Having 12 or 20 or 50, I'm not one of these people. Yeah, so some people.
Yeah, it's funny that the most professional musicians have only around 1 to 5 instruments, not more.
That's it. I mean, when I go on tour, basically I have one main instrument, I have another one as a backup in case it breaks. That's it.
Yeah,
that's like, you know, so but yeah, I mean, if you haven't got far to travel and was in this country, sure, it'd be nice to throw in for a bit of variety, say a baritone for a different sort of just a couple of tunes, and you know, it's there, you know, it makes a difference. But generally speaking, I think with the repertoire I have and the variety, I can keep within the same tuning but change the style.
Yeah. Okay. So is it high G or low G?
High.
Okay.
Only because I started off that way, and it's one of those things that's now very difficult not to do. And I use the strings 1 and 4 together quite a lot in harmony. So if I was playing Statin Doll, for example, I'll just play the melody, right? So all that's on string 4. Now if I bring it on as well, I get this. And so on, yeah. So having those two close together is really good. Also, it's good having it when you're doing sort of arpeggios and finger picks. So that wouldn't
faster.
Yeah. Like the video, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
Have some fun doing the faster things, because it's funny, the slower things, the more intricate things take a lot more concentration, and the fast ones, if you miss it or mess up a little bit, you can find your way back in very quickly.
Yeah.
Quick. Yeah.
Absolutely.
People come to me at the end of the concerts and they say, "Wow, I'm surprised your hand didn't fall off," you know. And he said, "Well, what about that slow thing with all those fancy chords and everything?" Yeah, that was good as well, but I couldn't believe how fast you went.
It can be so easy. What kind of music do you hear private? So if you don't make music, you hear music. What kind of music you hear?
Oh, right. Okay. So me and my son's Ben, he's 21. We like a lot of sort of rock music, you know. So we like the rock opera stuff, like bands like Nightwish, for example. There's a band in Europe called Sabaton, who we're really big fans of. We've been to see them quite a few times. So yeah, we're into the rock stuff, big style, you know. So we love doing that. So people think because I play ukulele, that's all I listen to, but it's not. I listen to all sorts of things, you know. So
yeah, it's funny. Many Hans Georg, for example, you will meet him the first time, I think, at the RUhrkulele. It's also now he don't have any hairs anymore, but when he was younger, he has long hairs. And
in there.
he also rock music and so on. Nightwish and Sabaton and so on, I will see them around in I think 3 or 4 weeks, because I'm at Wacken.
Oh no, don't tell me that. I'm so jealous.
The famous German rock festival, you know.
Yeah. Oh, Wacken is fantastic. Yeah.
Absolutely.
We've seen quite a few things on YouTube from there being broadcast, you know. So Yeah, yeah. Wow, I'm jealous. Stop it.
Yeah, but it's a hard time. You have around a week for or
Yeah,
5 days at the
yeah,
festival, and it's really it's very hard and very strong, but it's absolutely fantastic.
yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
but it's funny. But if when I take a look at your Vita and your YouTube videos and so on, I hear not so much rock music with your ukulele.
No, I think I like to.
Why?
I leave the rock music to the guitar, which is where it belongs. You know, I mean, you've got people like Ben Rouse from the Ukuleles of Great Britain, who's a brilliant guitarist as well, and
Mhm.
a lot of the shredding stuff on the uke, which is fantastic. Don't get me wrong, but I just think if you sticking it through an overdrive pedal and all the rest of it, trying to emulate what Van Halen was doing on the guitar, you, you can do it for so long, and then it's just meh, you know. You haven't got the range, you know. You need to be covering six strings to do that sort of thing, yeah, to get the full effect.
Mhm.
You know.
Mhm.
And I think because also the pitch of it being GCEA 5 frets above where it needs to be, you know,
Mhm.
for classic riffs and things. I just think a lot of the rock music just it has depth. So maybe if you've got a bass player and a rhythm guitarist, yeah, you could get away with it. But I wouldn't think twice of putting this through an overdrive pedal and doing some classic rock tunes. It just wouldn't. It's not me.
Okay, yeah, I
It's not.
understand.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, last year we had Julian Scacella at the Ruhrkulele, and he showed us something like what you can do with a looper and with a stomp box.
All right.
And he played on the ukulele Master of Puppets from Metallica.
Oh, brilliant.
Yeah, you take a look at it. What is he doing there? It's
Yeah,
unbelievable.
yeah. I
Yeah.
bet he used a pick as well. You couldn't do that with your fingers.
um, and how important is practicing for you?
I don't have a strict regime. However, if something is coming up that's important, obviously I'll refresh what I could potentially play. I never play the same concert twice. I have probably say there was a 1 hour concert. I would have 2.5 hours of material I could choose from. So I have to make sure that all that 2.5 hours is ready, and I can use it. I'll give you an example. I was in Australia for the very first time, the Sunshine Ukulele Festival 2016, and I'd written a program out, and I thought this looks pretty good, you know. But I'm waiting in the wings, and I'm listening to everybody else, and I was listening to what the audience were reacting to, and they loved joining in, singing and clapping and all the rest of it. And here's I've got all this stuff for people to listen to rather than participate in. So turned it over, wrote a new program in the side stage 10 minutes before I actually went on the stage. Yeah, but it was great. It was a fantastic experience for me, and they loved what I did. You know, so yeah, yeah. So
Okay.
remain flexible. That's the way. That's the secret.
Yeah, yeah, I think this really is a secret.
Yeah.
Yeah, and if you teach the ukulele, do you say your the guys you help to learn the ukulele? Do you say them, okay, please practice every day for 10 minutes or for 30 minutes or so, or do you say, now come, one time in a week is enough? What is
Right.
what is your what is
I
your
say
way?
to people, if it's a weekend, yeah, and you're not working, to do, if you can, 2 sessions of 30 minutes, so an hour in total. Yeah. So
Okay.
if there's something that's new and it's tricky to do, I never suggest to people go at it for a marathon for 3 hours, because all
Mm,
that is your fingers just aren't ready to do it yet. You know,
mm,
they'll learn the muscle memory and everything. It will come in time. And you often find if you do something for half an hour, go and do something completely different for 3, 4 hours, then pick it up again and try the same thing. It's much more productive, I find, to do
mhm.
that than go hard slog. You know, um, a lot of people want to be able to play instantly, especially paying for it. So this is, I want results. I'm paying for this. Yeah, so we will, but we need to do this, this, and this before we can get to that, that, and that. You know,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
you because I'm a little bit strict in that I say, you know, once you've got there, we're now on to the next bit. Yeah. if you don't practice it, and I will know if you've practiced it or not, then there's no point going any further. So I'll probably skip a week with, and then we'll do it the week after, and then they'll come back and say, I've practiced, I've done it.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, they're paying for it. They will get the results, and I want to have fun presenting. But what's better than anything is seeing the results from how they were to how they are in a month or 2 months down the line.
Yeah.
It's very gratifying. And some of my students are brave enough to go onto YouTube or Facebook and do their version of what I've shown them. So it's very flattering when I watch them play. So yeah.
I think this is one big point for the ukulele, because when the people start to play the guitar, for example, it's much more difficult to have the first big results. If you can with the ukulele, you have 2 or 3 accords and you can play 70% of the Beatles. Just kidding.
Absolutely you can. Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
Again, being nylon strings rather than metal strings. It's
that's another point. Yes.
And if you pick a sort of mid-sized instrument, which is the concert, there's not too much stretching going on. And like you say, half a dozen chords gets you playing 5,000 songs. If you're into doing 12 or 24 or 36 chords, and the world's your oyster, And then I show people how to change those chords, how to do an inversion sort of thing. So if I've got A7, for example, I can play it there. I can play it here, play it here, play it here. And the idea of that is that you can sound different to everybody else. So if you're on A7 for 8 beats, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, you can go or the other way. And it just makes your playing so much more fluent and more interesting. So I start my students off with, if we're playing, I don't know, bye, what would we have? Oh, 5'2". Yeah, so instead of going bum, 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 I replace those with bum, 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 bum. And they're just inversions of the same chord, but they sound nice together. And then you can go further still, which is changing everything to ninths. So you end up with. So that's basic chord, the inversions, and then the ninths, and then you get into 13ths, which is the next stage down, which gets rather wacky. But you can do anything with a uke. Really, you can.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. But this was really great examples, because many people, when I started with the ukulele and say, hey, Peter Moss is coming, and oh no, workshop in English, oh come on, say, hey, the language is the music, and the examples you give is that everybody can understand that. So this is really great. Because so I think when someone will book your workshop at the ukulele and he can't speak so good English or can't understand, I think he will understand everything what you will teach.
Yes.
Right?
Well, I did it in France recently in a place called Villeneuve, and I had an interpreter, but I didn't really need them because they could follow what I was actually playing, and it was great. So we did the Beatles medley because they knew all the lyrics to the Beatles tunes, even if they didn't speak very good English. They knew the lyrics of the tunes, so it just great. And on the end of the Beatles medley is that great tune "Hey Jude," and you got that na 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 na. Whole room doing that. It's just a great feeling. They're all playing ukes and really going for it. It's a really good fun medley to do.
Yeah, great. And if it's in France working, so it will work in German.
Yeah.
Germany.
Absolutely.
So there are some artists where you say, I want to drink a wine with him or make music with him. Someone where you say, for example, when you say, where you described it with Hey Jude and Beatles and so on, when you say, Paul McCartney, this is one of my heroes, I want to meet him. Or are there any people you want where you say, I want to meet them, I want to make music with them?
Right. Well, it actually did happen, and it's funny you should mention the Beatles, because the late great George Harrison I met in the UK probably 4 years before he passed away.
Really?
And he ended up in a ukulele thing called the George Formby Society. And they met in Blackpool, and they announced that somebody very important was coming along to the event. Under no circumstances approached them. They didn't say who it was. They said, don't go for autographs, blah, blah, blah. Otherwise, they'll just leave. They just want to just come and monitor the situation. So we've kind of forgot he was there, George Harrison. And the day carried on, and everybody was playing in the concert. And then a select few, including myself, I was honored to be asked up to the balcony where he was there, and he was saying to me, how did you do this thing where your thumb goes in the air? And how did you do this thing there? And I was saying, I'll show you if you like, So just as I'm talking to you, honestly, I said, well, you do this, you do that, you do this, you do this. So this carried on for about half an hour. And it was approaching 11 p.m. in the evening. And they were closing down the premises. So we went back to the hotel where he was staying. We carried on till 3 o'clock in the morning in the lobby of this hotel, playing ukuleles, right? And what a great guy! I mean, sad loss when we lost him, but a real down to earth guy, George Harrison. And I was staying around the corner in this B&B while he was at the Imperial Hotel. But I remember it well. I was looking up at the ceiling and I was thinking to myself, I do not believe what's just taken place. It was fantastic. So, yeah. So George Harrison's to date is, the most amazing experience I had.
Okay.
I would like to meet somebody like, now, would you know him? Steve Lukather from Toto?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, sure.
Because he, as far as guitar, is right up my street. I really like what he does, the jazz, the rock, it's sort of kind of like a hybrid, if you like. He does all sorts of things. I would just like to jam with him, just to say, this is what I do on a uke. I can't do what you do on guitar, but I'd just love to do a jam with you. Yeah, that would be really cool. So Steve Lukather, one day.
I'm sure that will happen.
Yeah.
I have in the past, what was the name of the drummer from Toto?
Simon Phillips.
Yeah, Simon Phillips. I mean him because we have a big drum center here, and he comes and show what he can do.
Amazing.
So we saw them live. It was
like 5 foot high. He's drowned with this kit. There's so many drums you can hardly see him.
You take a ladder to go inside of the drum set,
Yeah.
It was unbelievable. Yeah, I know Stephen Lukather because from my band, our guitarist is a big Stephen Lukather fan, and he was. I don't know what he was. I think he helped as a roadie for a Toto concert, and he drank a beer with him.
Yeah. Nice.
The funny thing is that many really big musicians are so nice guys.
Yes, it's true. It's I mean, I found with the ukulele, as well as being booked in hotels and things, I try and avoid it if I can, because especially if there's festivals outdoors, after all the official stuff's finished, it's great to be able to share a beer with people and jam away and everything. So it doesn't mean that everything has to stop at 10 o'clock. It can then carry on. And when I played Australia for the first time, I got re-invited on the strength of me mixing with everybody afterwards, because everybody said that's what they wanted. They wanted not only the concert, but they wanted to be able to jam and do things. And they said, this guy's come all the way from England, and he was playing 3 chords with us doing, what was it? Wagon wheel or something. Yeah, something really straightforward. But I was loving it. It was great. And why? We're outside. It was something like 80 degrees at midnight, and we're looking up at the southern hemisphere stars, and there was campfires going, and why would you want to go to a hotel?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, cool. Yeah. That sounds really good. So, do you stay at the Berlin Ukulele Festival in the past? Yeah.
No, I'd like to go. I was at the Czech festival and I met 2 people whose name I've forgotten, and they ran the Berlin Ukulele Festival, and it was like, you know, we're definitely going to have you there, definitely going to have you there, and it got later and later and later and later, and then suddenly it was full. So it's one of those things. So one for the future. Yeah.
Okay, great. So, but this is not the first time that you will stay in Germany at the Ruhrkulele, or?
It is.
Really?
Yeah. First time, Jim. Yeah. First time.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll show you which kind of beer we have.
Well, I went to a Bavarian night sort of thing, and they had these glasses of beer. I think they would hold about 2 pints. Yeah. Yeah. And you couldn't pick it up with one hand. You had to put your hand underneath. It was, I've never seen anything like it.
Yeah, German can do.
Yeah.
The Bavarian can do.
My son tells me I've got to learn something when I go to Germany. Now let me pronounce this right. Is it noch ein Bier? Does that mean another beer? Noch ein Bier?
Yeah. Perfect.
Oh, I'll be saying that then.
Well, if it's late, you can stretch forth your hand and say one beer. It's enough.
Well, I'm really, really looking forward to it. It's going to be fantastic.
Yeah, I'm so happy that you will come to my little festival.
Yeah.
Okay, Peter, I just take a look at the time, because after the last interview, it was also 30 minutes, and now we're all over 30 minutes. Everybody told me, come on, not so long, please, a little bit shorter, but now we have 30 minutes again. Shit happens. So, I'm really proud, and I'm really happy that you will come to the Ruhrkulele, and it's so great to talk with you, and I'm really happy to meet you in real life in November. Well, I think we are the only one ukulele festival of the world with the baddest weather. I think, but yeah, it will growing, and I think it will be really great. And the Friday concert where you also stay on the stage, it will be really nice evening. I will promise it. Really great. Yeah. Okay, Peter, thank you very much for your time. It was a pleasure for me, and I think we will talk together. The next time, and we will meet us together in real life in November. And I wish you a great evening. It's a little bit somewhere now. Okay, around 9. And I wish you a great evening, and thank you very much. And we will see you at the next time.
Fantastic. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.